So if you're going to be the singles tank on Brontes, you want to have an assassin or shadow with 2 cloaks. You want to equip second wind package, it's quite important for this fight. And in the tree you want to have spinning kick to help your healers. You could also use energized project if your healers are fine. Gloom ward is a quite important one in reducing your AoE towns, which means you'll have more towns available to cheese any orbs. Fade to reduce your force cloak, also good for cheesing orbs. I use force wave, which is a really good tip. It's quite a big range and it will damage the orb just ever so slightly and root it in place, which means that when it gets slapped or when I taunt it and ran into it, I get a second wind proc. And then we use Cloak of Resilience to cheese the orbs. You'll need Shroud, or it's called Resilience on the Shadow, to not take any damage from the orbs. And you can do this by clocking out and Cloak of Resilience or Resilience itself. So I guard our Vanguard. He will be trying to get some extra stacks. Will be generating a lot of threat. So I actually don't open with a force pool here. This is because the force pool will be necessary if an orb spawns on my side, which it does. And I wait with pulling until the fingers dead. Otherwise I'll bring everyone in danger. So it's down first and resilience immediately after, within 1 GCD. I don't know if you've spotted it, but I've marked my hand. This will allow both tanks to identify which hand they need to taunt to next. Always use your mass taunt for the orbs and not your singular taunt. Another orb. So I don't have resilience now and I don't want to cloak out because I'll lose all the threat on the hands. So instead I stun it and I wait until the stacks are higher, between 13 and 17-ish. At least not 20, because if it's 19 or 20 it will blow up in your face, and if it's lower than 13, 14 it just really hurts a lot. Of Shroud, I'll take a little resilience. That's fine. In the mid phase, try to keep moving, stay at the gate side so that she faces away from everyone else when she spawns, and then just try to keep aggro. I use Town to immediately get her attention and then Force Pull to start building some serious threat. It's fine to take the first stacks of Arcing Assault. Your healers should be able to heal you through it. You can use your spinning attack to minimize the damage, but nothing big should be necessary in regards to DCDs. The way solo tanking Brontes works is that you try to minimize the stacks by interrupting or using resilience every other Arcing Assault. Which means that the next Arcing Assault I will use my Force Cloak immediately when the cast happens, and then I will have to wait a second or two to taunt her back. Then we get another set of Arcing Assault. I'll just take these head on. The one that comes after, I will clock out again and taunt. It's important to taunt 1 or 2 seconds after clocking out, because Brontes or the fight or whatever it is, if you taunt too quickly, you will lose all your threat after the taunt debuff has run out, which is really annoying. Third one, you're cheesing, you're doing it with resilience or shroud. Be sure you wait 1 or 2-ish seconds in the cast to use it, otherwise your stacks will not fall off on time. I interrupt her casts with the Force Cloak but I taunted back too quickly, and soon you'll see her lose aggro because of it. So as I explained before, it's not because Abaddon does that much threat, it's because I just went to 0 in the threat bar because I taunted too early after clocking out. You can see she does a little precast. That's not the one to interrupt, it's the cast that follows after you want to interrupt. So I took 3 stacks of the last cast, so this one I interrupt with a Force Cloak. As you can see here, I try to look at my co-tank, what he's doing, and try to stay out of Kefas's stinky breath because it hurts and it puts unnecessary pressure on the healers. So I pulled up this clip from another pool to show you how to deal with orbs that spawn on your side. So I've just reset my stacks, which means the next Arcane Assault will be taken head on. Because of this, I stun or push back the orb so that when it's close by it will have the right amount of stacks. The next one I know I'll be cheesing, so I try to pull the orb and mess down and hit resilience at the same time, which causes me to cheese the cost of Brontes as well as not take any damage from the orb. Continuing with this clip, I immediately go to the first droid that spawns on my side, regardless if I know or not the beam is on my side, to damage it already. The beam is on my side, I try to use my recklessness or force potency, it's called, to do that much extra damage and help the rest out on the first droid, which is always the most scary one. I don't have footage of a pool what happens if the beam does not go my way, but if it doesn't, I basically am in charge of taking aggro of all the droids. Be mindful of the last droid at the gate, he'll spawn in a little late, and when you're running out of range of the healers, be sure your deflection is ready to be used so that you stay alive. At the end of this phase you can swap your guard to the healer. So this is the phase where your second wind should be procced a lot. There's several ways to do this. The thing that I find most comfortable is to take the cone of the hand in the middle to the gate instead of the corners. The first time I try to use a spinning kick, minimize the damage, build some threat. Then the next cone I will use on the orb, and I will use force wave to clip the orb. And what I do then is I actually kind of turn it back to the middle of the wall instead of one of the corners. There's enough time to get the orbs, but it will allow second wind to run out and for me to have more time to clip the orbs and stay away from them at the same time. So what happened to me at first is I would try to clip the orbs, try to proc second wind, but because I was too close to the orb did as much damage to me as the second wind proc healed me, which kind of made it, you know, useless. So by using the method of turning the every other cone to the middle of the gate, it allowed me to have enough time to clip an orb with a damaging ability or a force wave or a stun, and then move back before the hand would actually slap. So I would get only the heal and not the damage from the orb. Another thing I struggled at the beginning was to keep my thread on the hand. By using this method, I had a lot more time to build thread on the hand. So all in all, this worked the best for me. Is it the ultimate best way? Probably not, but this was the way that I stayed healthy the longest periods of time. I'd also use my Force Shroud for one of the hand slaps at the start, so that I know it is back on time in the last phase. During this phase, you're actually not allowed to use any of your big DCDs. No, just your small ones, which is recklessness / force potency and spinning kick. And then of course you could use one shroud at the start. Thrash / Super Strike Brontes when she spawns to minimize her healing. Near the end of her cast, be sure you've cloaked out to reset all threat you have on her. Now it's time to stay alive. I use spinning kick and my adrenal near the end of the first cast, and I try to damage the hand till around 6%. I have the luxury of orbs here, so I'm gonna use them. Them good procs. I turn the hand the long way, because this way I know I'm gonna hit all the dangerous orbs, and it's obvious for me to see when an orb for second wind proc comes. You can also use the healing defensive, use it near the end of a cast, and then it will last for 3 slams. So my group pushed the first hand, which means that I use my Force Shroud here for that slam to negate the damage, and then I'm ready to taunt 2 seconds after the first push. With my deflection, I'll get pushed back twice with minimum damage and causing Brontes to run half the field. I have no orbs, so I decide to help with damage, come into the threat table. There comes an orb, but it's not that dangerous yet. I push it back, I help some no more damage, and actually now I have 2 beautiful orbs that I take with one blow. Just a mess down, a force cloak, and there are 2 orbs out of the field. We push the second hand because the group is running low. It allows for more healing. We try to pull in the orbs we can to clear the field, and we continue the burn. As you can see, I saw there were not that many orbs, so I decided to help a little bit more. Then I see more orbs coming, I decide to deal with them. Another beautiful case of 2 orbs at once. I should have waited for all 3, but this was fine as well. I can't really do anything with that orb, so I just run back, and I finally am using the push table a little bit late. But because of the way I handled the orbs and my co-tank handled the orbs, everyone had enough time to deal enough damage to Brontes to get the kill.
Submit. Let yourself be unmade.
I wish you'd all just turn and fade away.
Witness the potential.
But now the days are different from way back when.
Now,
So hard
share
to
your
be yourself
true
when you're the
strength.
henchman. The very first time I feel kinda special. My master says it's time to summon a new devil. When the devil from beyond makes his trip here instead, then you'll all be sorry and be a real deadhead. The hypergate is you, so it doesn't need attention. I never thought of that, but now that you mentioned, spent the last of my time today calling out to the sky. You missed times with die. For just this once, I wish you'd all just turn and fade away. For just this once, I wish you'd all just turn what I have to say. For just this once, I wish you'd all just turn and fade away. For just this once, I wish you'd all just hear what I have to say. Just hear what I have to say.
Must be
Hear what I have to
discarded.
say. And just hear what I have to say. What I have to hear what I have to say. Just hear what I have to say. What I have to say. Just hear what I have to say. Master's killer, what does he say? Doesn't matter anyway. It matters anyway. Dread Master's killer, what qu'est-ce que c'est? It doesn't matter anyway. It matters anyway. Dread Master's killer, what qu'est-ce que
Weakness
c'est?
must be discarded.
It doesn't matter anyway. It matters anyway.
Weakness must be discarded. Weakness must be discarded. But not all. Can you find the rest? This is not the end of your trials.